In 20th century, the drug discovery moved to a nano era. So in 1959, Professor Feynman gave his famous lecture. There is plenty of room at the bottom. Starting the research of nanotechnology. So what is nanotechnology? Nanotechnology is a research in telescale, so from 1 nanometer to 100 nanometer. So after that, so many people are focused on the research of nanotechnology, not only in chemistry, but also in physics and even in medicine. So the combination of nanotechnology and medicine generate a new medicinal matter called nanomedicine. So we can see dendrimers, polymers, and the matter nanoparticles, and the nanocrystals. So all of them can be used as nanomedicine. And the size is comparable to some biological species. For example, the antibody has a size of about 12 nanometer. And we can see the dendrimers, the size is less than 10 nanometer. So we can use this kind of very small particles to interact with antibody and produce some therapeutic effect. The application of nanomedicine there are two main applications. The first one is bioimaging. So the nanoparticles can act as an imaging agent. And right now the nanoparticles has already applied in X-ray computed tomography. We call this CT in the hospital. And magnetic resonance imaging, MRI. So these two are very common in the hospital for diagnosis of diseases. And also the near-infrared fluorescence from the nanoparticle can be used for imaging. And ultrasound imaging and quite recently photoacoustic imaging are also used for the diagnosis of cancer. So some nanoparticles can even pass through the blood-brain barrier and go into the human's brain. So if there is any brain tumor, probably we can use nanoparticle to image it, and then we can do the surgery precisely. And the second application of nanomedicine is therapy. Just as I said, so the size of nanomedicine is very, very small. It can go into the blood vessel of human and act as a nanorobot for surgery. So probably in the future, doctors don't need to open the patient's body. They just inject some nano robot into the blood vessel, and this smart nanorobot can find the cancer or some other disease and kill the cells. And the other application for therapy is nanoparticles. Nanoparticles can act as a carrier for drug delivery. So as we know, when we take drugs, so only a little amount drug can be can go to the part, can go to the diseases part. But if we use a nanoparticle as a carrier, it can target the disease part, for example, cancer, and then send a lot of therapeutic agent into the cancer cells and effectively kill the cancer cells. And also, this nanoparticle can prevent the drug resistant effect of cancer cells. So right now, so many groups are focused on this drug delivery using nanomedicine. But for the nanorobot, so right now I think is too early. More research and more research is needed for this nanorobot. So in recent 5 years, we can see that the paper about nanomedicine published in the journals. I searched this topic, nanomedicine, from 2010 to 2015 by Web of Science. So as you can see in this picture, the United States scientists published many papers, more than 1,000 papers. And the second place is China. So China people also spend a lot of money and spend a lot of time to do the research in nanomedicine. But we can see Japan is number 11. So probably we need more people, more groups to do research in this nanomedicine. In China, there are two national institutes for the research of nanomedicine. The first one is the Nano Center for Nanoscience and Technology. The second one is the Chinese Academy of Science. So there are many excellent researchers doing the research in these two institutes. So most of the research, they come back from the United States. So they get PhD or they did a postdoc in United States for several years. And when they come back to China, they just continue their work. So one professor in my university, his name is Zhao Liu. So you can see his publication of this year. So just from January to May, so he already published more than, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 good papers. So anyway, so in China, there are many young researchers like Zhang Liu. So the competition is also very, very serious. And finally, I want to talk about the clinical translation of nanomedicine, because the research should be used in clinic. Otherwise, the research is just a research. So in medical science, we call this from bench to bedside. So this is an example of recent clinical translation in China. So maybe Kuma Sensei, you know this gadolinium encapsulated fullerene. So it's a kind of carbon nanomaterials. And recently, this group, Professor Zhao Yuliang's group at Chinese Academy of Science, they found the gadolinium encapsulated fullerenol nanomaterials can act as a non-toxic breast cancer stem cell inhibitor. So it can prevent the growth of these breast cancer stem cells. And it can also inhibit the metastasis. And so after publishing this paper, they filed a patent and decided to do the clinic translation. So they launched a project in Beijing. and successfully attracted a large amount of money from the government. Probably within 3 or 4 years, they will produce this kind of a drug for the clinic trials. So if the clinical trials result is good, and they will move to the mass production. And he is one of the visiting professor of my department. So I want to summarize this part and give some outlook. So first, the traditional Chinese medicine contribute a lot to the medical care of human health. And during these several thousand years, not only in China, but also in Japan, in Korea, in Vietnam, Singapore, all over the world. And second, Chinese herbs are a big treasury. The modernization of which will produce more valuable drugs. Like Tu Youyou, he found the Qinghao Shu for malaria treatment. So probably we can find more effective drugs from Chinese herbs. And third, I think China needs to enhance its pharmaceutic industry because it's too weak, as you can see. So even India has a very successful company, but China doesn't have. And finally, the research of nanomedicine in China is very active. We publish many papers, but I think more attention should be paid to clinic translation. So in the future, we should use this nanomedicine not only in the lab, but also in the hospital.